You're listening to Keith Sports News. Hey folks, welcome back to another KSN episode, number 82, Friday edition of me previewing the weekend. That's right. This is going to be a shorter episode, mainly because I don't have too much time. So let's get right into it. Now, normally I would write down the things that I want to talk about, but I didn't do that. Yeah. I'm going to try and remember all the things that I want to talk about. Now, this is a Friday episode, meaning I'm going to preview the weekend. You know, Monday or Tuesday's episodes are usually me recapping what happened over the weekend. So, yeah. All right. Right now, the most important thing happening in sports right now is the Major League Baseball's postseason, the championship series. All right. So, let's start off with the ALCS. So, in the last episode, I mentioned that the Seattle Mariners were off to a great start. Like this team was on a mission, pouring in those runs on the road in Toronto after playing a 5-hour game to win Game 5 of the ALDS. I'm like, what? Wow. Like, I thought the Toronto Blue Jays would win at least Game 1. No, they lost both Games 1 and 2 at home. Like, wow. So after that, I'm like, well, looks like the Mariners are going to win this game easily. So Game 3 comes. That was a Wednesday, I believe. Yeah. And OMG, the Blue Jays poured in a bunch of runs. It is crazy. And I said to myself, where the heck was this Blue Jays team in games 1 and 2? All of a sudden, when they went to Seattle, their bats got hot. Their pitching got hot. On the road. Games 3, 4, and 5 in Seattle. Now, here's the thing. In the bottom of the first inning, Julio Rodriguez hit a 2-run home run in the bottom of the first inning. And after that, I'm like, uh-oh. The Mariners are going to pour in a bunch of runs again. No. This time, it was the Blue Jays that poured in a bunch of runs. It's weird because back in Game 2, the first pitch of the bottom of the first inning, George Springer hits a home run. And after that, I'm like, uh-oh, the Blue Jays are going to pour in a lot of runs. No, that was their only run. They only got 2 hits. Only 2 hits in Game 1 for the Blue Jays. In this game, 18 hits. Like, wow. This team was pouring in a bunch of runs. George Springer hit another home run. How about Vladimir Guerrero Jr.? He's the first baseman. Oh my gosh, it's crazy. This game was a blowout. So the Blue Jays, after that, I'm like, okay, we have a series. So, I have access to their to the Blue Jays TV broadcast. Yeah, they have their own broadcast which is really cool because they don't have Fox. So that means they can have their own broadcast. So in this case, the announcers are Dan Shulman, who used to be the voice of Sunday Night Baseball on ESPN. He's still part of ESPN. He calls college basketball games, so not too long after the MLB season comes to an end, that's when college basketball season begins. And his partner, Buck Martinez. Martinez is a longtime Blue Jays broadcaster. And I remember he called some World Baseball Classic games in 2023. So next year is the World Baseball Classic. I'm wondering if Buck will call some games. In 2023, he was with Rich Waltz. Yeah. Well-known voice, well-known announcer. So yeah, the Blue Jays poured in a whole bunch of runs. It is crazy. They won this game 13-4. I mean, it was a must-win. It was definitely a must-win for the Blue Jays. And then Thursday came, Game 4. And it was basically the same thing, except not as much runs as Game 3. But again, the Mariners, just like in Game 3, they scored first. Bottom of the second, Naylor hit a home run. 1-0 Mariners. And then after that, Blue Jays poured in even more runs, more home runs. Like, again, where the heck was this Blue Jays team in Rogers Center, games 1 and 2? Blue Jays won this game 8-2, and just like that, this game is tied. Vladimir Guerrero Jr., first baseman, he picked off a runner. Forgot the runner's name, but the umpire called him safe. But Guerrero Jr. is like, no, I'm confident he's out. You go ahead and challenge that. And they challenged it, and the call was overturned. Runner was out. How about Max Scherzer, age 41? Yeah, I really wasn't sure how he was going to perform in this game. And he did amazing. It's almost like the old Max is back. His nickname, Mad Max. Yeah, he is kind of crazy looking pitcher. And at one point, the Blue Jays manager wanted to take him out. And Max was like, oh no, you're not taking me out. Nope. That's kind of funny. It's like Max is back in his prime in the postseason. I remember he played for the Washington Nationals. And one time he pitched a no-hitter. He almost had a perfect game. And I remember after the game, his no-hitter, they were pouring chocolate syrup on him. And it's like, oh my goodness. I remember that ending to that game. He won the World Series with the team in 2019. And then he won another World Series with the Texas Rangers from 2 years ago. Now he's with the Blue Jays. But people forget, he started with the Detroit Tigers. Him and Justin Verlander. Remember? Him and Scherzer and Verlander were both part of the New York Mets team in 2022, like the first half of 2022. All that money the Mets spent Yeah, I know, it's crazy. But Max Scherzer had a fantastic game, but he gave up a home run. He gave up a home run in the bottom of the second inning. But that didn't matter because the Blue Jays kept pouring in runs. Now, my question is, where the heck is... what happened to the Mariners? They're at home and now they're falling apart. So, Game 5 is tonight, or the afternoon. I think it's... I think, Game 5 is the first game because the NLCS will be second. What if somehow this goes 7 games? This means we're going to have a Game 6 in Toronto because the series is tied 2 games apiece. So what if this series goes 7 games and all 7 games are won by the road team? And that's happened before. 2019 World Series and 2023 ALCS, all 7 games were won by the visiting team. And I don't think that's ever happened in the NBA or in the NHL. It might happen again. So here's the thing. I'll be honest with you guys. After the Mariners won Game 2, I said to myself, okay, now I want them. After the Mariners won the first 2 games in Toronto, I said to myself, okay, now I hope the Mariners win this series in 4 or 5 games so we can see and hear the crowd's reaction. I mean, that would be awesome. That would have been very cool. Hear and listen to the crowd reaction after the Mariners finally advance to the World Series for the first time in their franchise. But yeah. At the same time, if the Toronto Blue Jays win this series and go to the World Series, that means their own broadcast will be at the World Series. Dan Shulman and Buck Martinez. Yeah, again, I'm lucky to have Sportsnet. And yeah, I was listening to the Blue Jays broadcast because I can. Yeah, and it worked out. So, we'll see what happens. I'm sure by the time I come back, excuse me, by the time I come back on Tuesday, I'm sure both of these series would be over by then. The other series, the NLCS, the LA Dodgers taking care of business. They won the first 2 games in Milwaukee. So after that, I'm like, maybe the Brewers will win Game 3 on the road, just like the Blue Jays did. No, that didn't happen. It was a close game, though. It wasn't like it was a blowout. I was actually listening to this game on ESPN Radio with John Shambi and Doug Glanville. I believe they are going to be the voices of this year's World Series. In the ALCS, the ESPN radio announcers are Carl Ravage, Eduardo Perez, and Tim Kurkjian. Speaking of Tim Kurkjian, he actually has his own podcast with his son, Jeff Kurkjian. Yeah, it's called, Is This a Great Game or What? Yeah, that's the name of the podcast, and it's pretty good. I just started listening to it. Here's how I found out. Earlier this week, Tim was on the Tony Kornheiser show. And Tony, at the end, he wanted Tim to say the name, say his podcast so people can check it out. So that was nice of Mr. Kornheiser. Without that, I wouldn't know. I wouldn't have known that Tim has his own podcast. So, yeah, another list I added to all my favorite podcasts. So I've been listening to that, and of course, Baseball Tonight with Buster Olney. So the Dodgers won the first 3 games, and they'll be playing tonight. Game 4 will be tonight, and we might see a sweep tonight. We might see a sweep tonight, which means if that happens, the LA Dodgers will be well rested because Game 1 of the World Series is on Friday, October the 24th, I believe. Yeah. That means they can rest for like almost a week. But we'll see. Yeah. It's going to be crazy. Especially during this time of the year. This month is crazy. Halloween month. NHL season just begun. And next week, the NBA season is going to begin. We're in the middle of the NFL season, college football season. We're near the end of the CFL's regular season. Of course, the World Series. It's, oh my gosh, I got so much happening. So, yeah, we'll see what happens after this weekend. We might have a World Series. My World Series pick is still alive. When they unrevealed the teams during the postseason a couple weeks ago, I picked Mariners-Dodgers World Series this year. That's still a possibility. But now I'm okay, the LA Dodgers, they're most likely going to get in. But the Blue Jays-Mariners series can still go 7 games. So we'll find out. The World Series might be set. So, yeah. All right. So that's what's going on. Let's talk about the CFL. They're in week number 20, I believe. Yep. Week number 20. Interesting game tonight between the Saskatchewan Roughriders and the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. It's a must-win for the Blue Bombers, so I will pick them to win. Late night game tonight, Edmonton Elks at the BC Lions. Somehow, the Elks are still alive in the postseason, but basically they got to win all their games, the rest of their games, and hoping other teams can lose. But I think the Lions are going to win. They're at home. But the Elks can surprise us sometimes. And then Saturday, a doubleheader, my favorite team, the Montreal Alouettes against the Ottawa Redblacks. And these two teams they just met on Thanksgiving, Canada on Monday. And here they are again, this time in Ottawa. Alouettes are a better team, so I'll go with them. And then after that, Toronto Argonauts at the Calgary Stampeders. Argos are eliminated, so I'll go with the Stamps. Alouettes Redblacks. If I didn't make a prediction, I'll still go with my favorite team. So the Hamilton Tiger Cats are not playing this week, but they'll probably play CFL. Yeah. Sorry guys, I'm really tired. That's another reason why this episode will be shorter. Don't have much time. The reason why I don't have much time is because I was listening to Sportsnet Canada, TSN Sports Center, the regular version, and TSN Sports Center with Jay Onright and MLB Network, MLB Tonight. Yep, I was listening to all those of them talking about mainly the ALCS Game 4. And then after that, I got kind of hungry, so I ate for a bit, and here I am. Yeah. So let's move on here. College football. College football. I haven't really looked at the schedule. So, yeah, no more James Franklin. I'm sure he'll coach somewhere else. Maybe he'll coach at Oklahoma State, where they fired Mike Gundy. Can you believe that? Mike Gundy, after all those years, gets fired. Sam Pittman, after turning things around at Arkansas, not having a good season so far, he also gets fired. But the worst is James Franklin, because they were number 3 in the country when they faced Oregon. They lost in a heartbreaker, and then how do they lose against a winless UCLA team, and then they lose at home to Northwestern on their homecoming? Like, that's crazy. So let's see here what we got. Big news. Indiana's coach, he's staying for like another 8 years or so. Got an ESPN breaking news that Indiana's coach, he's staying. So I heard that next season, Penn State might get Matt Rule. Matt Rule is the Nebraska head coach. Used to be at Baylor. Then he went to the Carolina Panthers of the NFL. That didn't go so well. Now he's back in college for Nebraska. So, yeah, we'll see. We got a pretty big Friday night game. This is interesting. Unranked Louisville, which they're 4-1. They're taking on at number 2 undefeated Miami Hurricanes. An ACC showdown tonight. The total is 49.5. I'm going to say... I'll go with under. Actually, no, I'll go over. We got a Big Ten showdown on Fox. Number 25 Nebraska, 5-1 at unranked Minnesota, which they're 4-2. So, total 47.5. I'll go under this time. And no, I don't place my bets on these. This is just for fun. All right, Saturday, LSU, number 10 LSU, 5-1 on the road at number 17 Vanderbilt, which they're also 5-1, an early game on 11 a.m. on ABC. This could go either way. I mean, I think LSU's a better team than Vanderbilt, but Vanderbilt can pull off this big win. Total is also 48.5. Well, I'm going to take the under because LSU doesn't score that much points now. But they don't give up a lot of points either, meaning they have a pretty good defense. Number 4, Texas A&M, 6-0 at Arkansas, which they're 2-4. Is this game going to be at AT&T Stadium? Because for years, these two programs would have a match, a big game at Jerry's World, AT&T Stadium. Nope, they're not doing that this year. It's going to be at Razorback Stadium. Well, I got a A&M. They might crush Arkansas. Now, this one, total is 59.5. I'm going to take the over on this one because both teams can score a lot of points here. How will number 14 Oklahoma will perform after losing in the Red River Showdown or Shootout, whatever that's called, against Texas. They're on the road at South Carolina. You never know about those Gamecocks. Oklahoma might find a way to bounce back after that loss. Number 1, Ohio State at Wisconsin, 2:30 p.m. Central on CBS. So this is the game that Gary Danielson's going to be calling. Ohio State, they clearly are the best team. They might crush Wisconsin. Got a game on Peacock, only on Peacock. Michigan State at number 3. Indiana. Oh, you know what, guys? I completely forgot to check the rankings. Yeah, my apologies. This just popped in my head. I completely forgot to check the college football rankings in the last episode. I'll tell you why I forgot. Because I was talking about the big James Franklin news. Okay? I was talking about the big James Franklin news of him getting fired, and I was looking at his win-loss records, his season win-loss records, to see how many wins he got against top 5 opponents. So I took my time to go through that, and then after that I completely forgot to check the rankings. But wow, Indiana's number 3. How about we do that? Let's break down the rankings right now, shall we? Before I forget. So my apologies for forgetting. All right, so college football ranking top 25. The teams that are out. We got quite a bit of teams that are eliminated from the top 25. Michigan, which they were number 15. Illinois, which they were number 17. I forgot which team did Illinois lose to. Arizona State, Iowa State, and Florida State. All right, number 25 is Nebraska. They're 5-1. They are ranked for the first time. Same with number 24, Cincinnati, and number 23, Utah. Number 22 is Memphis. They're undefeated. Number 21 is Texas. They're back in the rankings. Yeah, they're 4-2. Number 20 is USC. They're 5-1. First time they're ranked this season. Number 19 is South Florida. They're also 5-1, and they went up 5 spots. Virginia, number 18, they're also 5-1. Same with number 17, Vanderbilt, and number 16, Missouri. Number 15 is BYU. They're 6-0. Number 14 is Oklahoma. They dropped down 8 spots after their loss to Texas. Number 13 is Notre Dame. Number 12 is Georgia Tech. People have been sleeping on Georgia Tech. They're undefeated. Number 11 is Tennessee. They're 5-1. Same with number 10, LSU, and number 9, Georgia, and number 8, Oregon. They dropped down 5 spots after they lost to Indiana, which I still cannot believe that. Number 7 is Texas Tech. Up 2 spots. They're undefeated, perhaps the best Big 12 team. Number 6 is Alabama. They're 5-1, up 2 spots. Number 5 is Ole Miss, undefeated, 6-0, just like Texas A&M. Indiana, number 3, undefeated. Number 4, when was the last time Indiana was that good? Number 2 is Miami, 6-0, and of course, number 1 is Missouri. Number 1 is Ohio State. So yeah, big shakeup in the top 25. Indiana's now number 3. What if they win the Big Ten? I mean, I think they have to play Ohio State, so that'll be their biggest challenge yet. We got a huge game, SEC showdown on ABC, 2:30 p.m. Number 5, Ole Miss at number 9, Georgia. I'll take the under 56.5 on that one. All right. Let's see what the big SEC on ABC game is on tonight. Will the Texas Longhorns winning another game against Kentucky? Wow. Number 11, Tennessee at number 6, Alabama. 6:30 p.m. I think it's more of a must-win for the Houston Astros. Or not the Houston Astros, excuse me. This just popped in my head. I was actually watching some Houston Astros playoff highlights. That's why I accidentally mentioned their name. But number 11 Tennessee at number 6 Alabama. Both teams are 5-1. Night game. Now normally this is the afternoon game. To me, Ole Miss and Georgia, that sounds like a bigger matchup to me. That's just my opinion. That game might be closer than Tennessee, Alabama, because normally, Tennessee and Alabama they would meet in the 2nd October, no, the 3rd October of the 3rd Saturday of October, and it's usually a 2:30 p.m. game, but this time it's prime time. Total's 59.5. I'll take the over on that one. Big Ten Showdown on NBC and Peacock. Number 20 USC at number 13 Notre Dame. Is USC that good, or was Michigan not that great? Wow, this one's 60.5. I will take the under on that one. This is like my own bad beats. Yeah. Number 16, Missouri at Auburn. Both teams lost last week. Missouri lost to Bama, and Auburn lost to Georgia. This game's in Auburn. Auburn can surprise us sometimes. Total 43.5. I will say under on that one. Number 23, Utah at number 15, BYU. The Big 12. Total 49.5. I'll say over. Wow. Oklahoma State's 1-5. Now, what about Clemson and North Carolina? Those two programs met a couple weeks ago. What a blowout that was. Clemson's not back in the rankings yet. Let's see. Let's take a look at Clemson's schedule. Who do they face? They face SMU in Clemson. North Carolina, they face California at Cal. A late game tonight, 9:30 p.m. I don't know why this game is not listed a TV network. But yeah, interesting. Oh. All right, guys. Let's see. So, college football week 8. The thing is, I normally do watch some of the games, mainly the SEC games on ABC, but I'm probably not going to be able to watch any of them. Maybe the prime time game, but like during the day games, I'm not going to be able to watch much games because I have things to do tomorrow, housework, mainly in this room, because I mentioned before, every year my parents and we have this big Halloween party. As you can see behind me, if you're watching, part of the room got decorated. So more decorations for me to do tomorrow. So I might listen to the game on my earbud while I'm decorating. Okay. So to the National Football League. Week 7. Oh, yeah, I did mention that the Thursday night game was Steelers against Bengals. And I mentioned that I'm not going to watch it because no Joe Burrow. However, I completely forgot that Joe Flacco is now part of the team. I just completely forgot about him. But I remember Joe Flacco. The first Super Bowl I watched, he was in it, you know. And wasn't he like not playing for a team like for like a year or so? No team wanted him. That's kind of sad. But yeah, I was actually going to watch some of that game, and then I saw that the Cincinnati Bengals were wearing all white helmets. What the heck is that? What are they? The Cincinnati Zebras? Well, there are some white tigers out there. It's just rare. So, yeah. Yeah, I completely forgot that Joe Flacco is now a Cincinnati Bengal. This game was close. Yeah. Joe Flacco against Aaron Rodgers, two of the oldest quarterbacks right now. And it's like going back in time with these guys. But the Bengals, excuse me, they got a huge win for the World Cup. I'm sorry. I don't remember what I'm saying. I'm so tired. My brain is not functioning. Okay. World Cup is next year, which means I'm not going to get enough sleep again. Ugh. Oh well, at least we're here on the weekend, so I can sleep more. Okay. I meant to say it was Joe Flacco against Aaron Rodgers, right? Two of the oldest quarterbacks. It was like going back in time. The Bengals held on to win this game 33-31. It was a very close game, too, from start to finish. And the last play of the game, they showed that Aaron Rodgers was attempting a Hail Mary. Can you believe how far he threw that football at his age? He's 41. Oh my gosh. Just imagine if somehow they were able to get that game-ending miracle Hail Mary like he's done before. That would be nuts. But I think Joe Flacco said that he's never beaten Aaron Rodgers in a game, so he finally did. All right. So that was cool. Two of the oldest quarterbacks. Will they play each other? Will they play against each other again? Or did the Steelers already play the Bengals before Flacco became a Bengal? Before that, he was playing for the Browns. Yep, they already... No, wait. No. They'll play again on Sunday, November the 16th. All right, cool. Joe Flacco is a huge quarterback. People forget how big he is. Okay, we got, moving on now, Week 7 predictions. We got the Saints and the Bears in Soldier Field. The Bears will win. All right. Another European game, another international game, another game in London. LA Rams against the Jacksonville Jaguars. Now this will be interesting because both teams are 4-2, but the Rams could be undefeated. I'm going to go with the Rams in that game. There's this podcast that I like listening to called Let's Go with Jim Gray and Matthew Stafford. Yes, Matthew Stafford, the Rams quarterback. I like Matt Stafford. He's just on a team that I don't like, the LA Rams. I feel like this is like the most international games I ever seen. All right, the Vegas Raiders at the Kansas City Chiefs. The Chiefs are back, guys. They're 3-3. They played really great against the Detroit Lions on Sunday Night Football, so I expect the Chiefs to win that game. Oh boy, we got two 1-5 teams. Miami Dolphins at the Cleveland Browns. Yay! I'll take Cleveland. I think Cleveland's a better team than Miami. Wow. New England Patriots at the Tennessee Titans. Mike Vrabel returns to Nashville. I still could not believe they actually fired the guy. And what happened after he got fired at Tennessee? It started the program started to fall apart. They recently just fired their latest head coach. They're 1-5, but in reality, they should be number 6, in my opinion. If it wasn't for that Arizona game, they would be winless. What if the Titans win? They beat the Seahawks' former coach. All right, Eagles, Philadelphia Eagles, the defending Super Bowl champions at the Minnesota Vikings. I think the Eagles are going to win this game. I heard that J.J. McCarthy got injured again, so that's very unfortunate. Indianapolis Colts at the LA Chargers. We'll see how the Colts play, if the Manning Bros are that good again. New York Giants at the Denver Broncos. I'm going to go with the Denver Broncos. And then we got 2 of the big games on Fox, America's Game of the Week. Green Bay Packers at the Arizona Cardinals. I'll take the Packers in that one. And then Dallas Cowboys at the Washington Commanders. Is this the game where Kevin Burkhardt and Tom Brady will call? I guess so. I'll go with I guess the Cowboys. Not too confident on that one. We have a huge Sunday night game between the Atlanta Falcons at the San Francisco 49ers. Both teams have to fly across the country. It's unusual. So the Houston Texans at the Seattle Seahawks. The Texans became the first African-American manager in Major League Baseball. I know he retired after 2016. Yeah. Sorry, guys. I'm falling asleep here. I'm going to go. The game's in San Francisco. So I think the 49ers can win this game. And then we got a doubleheader for bum 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 bum. Another doubleheader for Monday Night Football, except both games are not on at the exact same time. One of them starts at early in time. The Sunday Nighter, I think the 49ers will win this game. Doubleheader on Monday Night Football, Houston Texans at the Seattle Seahawks and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers at the Detroit Lions. So that was cool that it worked out. Doubleheader again for ESPN. Except both games, this is what I meant to say, both games are not on at the exact same time. Instead, one game's at 6 p.m. on ABC, the other game's at 9 p.m. on ESPN, and normally Chris Fowler would be calling according to him, he calls that leftovers. So, yeah. I'll go with the Seahawks in that one. Seahawks, Texans, I'll go with the Seahawks. Buccaneers, Lions. I guess I'll go with the Lions. So, anyways, we'll see how some of my favorite podcasts have to say here. So, yeah, we got MLB Postseason, of course. CFL wrapping up their regular season. Got a bunch of NHL games with a bunch of Canadian teams in it. And, of course, the postseason, most importantly. So, all right. I think that's it, folks. Yeah, a much shorter episode. But my older episodes are about 45 minutes anyways. So, yeah. So, yeah, folks, another big, big weekend. That's right. So let me know what are y'all going to be watching? It's going to be interesting. So like I said, I'm probably not going to, I'm probably going to miss a lot of sporting events because I have other things to do, but that's okay because every Saturday night, late Saturday night, I would watch SEC football final and then the college football playoff final or college football final, the show on ESPN, and then the late night Matt Vasgersian call. No, not Matt Vasgersian. I mentioned his name. The reason why I mentioned Matt Vasgersian is because he's had some great highlights of his career. I was hearing some of his calls from MLB International. So yeah, that's why I watch these late night shows so that I know what's going on. All right, guys, that is it. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. And I'll see you next time on another special Tuesday edition of KSN. Have a great weekend. Thank you for listening to Keith Sports News.